The old Domino Sugar Refinery was located in the Williamsburg section of Brooklyn, New York City. Would you find it amazing to know that in 2004, this sugar refinery was still operating? It's pretty amazing when you look at the building, isn't it? This dilapidated structure was still in working order just 16 years ago. Before we get into the video, I do want to apologise for the building being covered. This section right here, which is pretty darn cool to look at if you ask me, is the only section of the building not covered by scaffolding and protective netting. I've also turned the volume down because it was so windy when I filmed this that the wind is all you hear. The original refineries were built on this site in 1856, which subsequently burnt down. They were replaced in 1882 by the current structure that you see here. On the other side of the building is Domino Park, and aside from this main building, you will notice remnants of the sugar refineries throughout the entire park, which have been converted and incorporated into the park itself. That section of the video will go up on Sunday. Aside from the Domino Sugar Refinery, several other refineries were built in the area, and by 1870, the neighbourhood of Williamsburg produced virtually all of the sugar sold throughout the United States. In fact, this particular refinery accounted for 75% of all sugar sold in the nation at the time. At its peak, the refinery employed 4,500 workers at this plant alone. Almost all of the initial employees at the plant were German immigrants, with Irish immigrants working as outside contractors. The pay for the labourers was poor, but most of them lived in the surrounding streets or in boarding houses, so while their earnings weren't great, it was enough to get by with. By 1894, the Domino Sugar Refinery was the largest in the world, producing 13,000 barrels of sugar daily. And 2 years later, it was one of the original 12 companies in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The location of the factory was no accident either. They received raw sugar from 40 countries directly. In fact, in 1919, they had their own pier 1 block away. The pier is long gone, but the remains of the structure are still there. In the early 20th century, the refinery had a major impact on the local economy, accounting for millions in wages, taxes, and deals with other local source providers. Much like Detroit was known for its car manufacturing, or Pittsburgh its steel, Brooklyn was known as the sugar refining center of America. The sugar company expanded its operations by building other factories in Baltimore and Philadelphia. And after the war ended in 1945, production at the New York plant began to subside. Resources and offices were relocated to the company's other plants. But despite this, the refinery continued to operate at a reduced rate. By 1996, only 450 employees remained at the Brooklyn plant. The refinery was the last one on the Brooklyn waterfront, and it continued to operate until 2004. But by that point, almost all operations had shifted to the Baltimore plant. The refinery closed in January 2004. though 24 workers were retained for the rest of the year for packing operations. The Landmarks Preservation Commission designated the Pan, Filter, and Finishing House as an official city landmark in 2007, thereby preserving those structures from redevelopment. The rest of the factory buildings were demolished in 2014. While the most noticeable part of the redevelopment project is Domino Park on the waterfront, and by the way, come back on Sunday if you wish for a walk around the park, along with the simply amazing view of New York City skyline. But aside from the park, the redevelopment also encompasses plans for 200,000 square feet of community and commercial space, 600,000 square feet of office space, 2,800 apartments, of which 700 will be affordable, and 6 acres of parkland on the waterfront, which is part of Domino Park.